Hi everybody, today is Wednesday, February the 3rd, and today is Wednesday in the Word, so we're going through Matthew chapter 5 verse 38. So let me read it for you. Jesus says, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." Now this comes from back in the Old Testament, Moses, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus. It also comes from an ancient law back then called the Code of Hammurabi. So it's something they understood. It's something they heard growing up. Let me read you Leviticus, where this is found. Leviticus 24, verse 17. It says, "If anyone takes the life of a human being, he must be put to death. Anyone who takes the life of someone's animal must make restitution for life. If anyone injures his neighbor, whatever he has done must be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he injured the other, so he is to be injured. Whoever kills an animal must make restitution, but whoever kills a man must be put to death." Simply put it, that the punishment must match the crime. I believe that for a couple reasons. One is it stops further crime. If a person is punished for the crime, then hopefully it'll stop further crime because you're worried about the penalty it's going to do to you. Also, it will prevent excessive punishment based upon a personal vengeance or an angry retaliation. You know, kind of give an example. Someone hurts me, so I get mad and I kill them. I mean, that's not good. I mean, for a good illustration is in the Bible with Cain and Abel. I mean, Abel really didn't deserve to be hit with a rock and killed. So Cain did it because he wasn't happy. So an eye for an eye not only should match the punishment, but it was very merciful law because it limited the human heart to seek revenge beyond the offense, beyond what happened to them. Sometimes we get angry, we have resentment, we demand a payment. Sometimes it's like a pound of flesh for an ounce of offense. So you understand that? So in other words, just an ounce of we hurt you, but you want a pound of hurting us. Romans 12:17. "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If possible, as far as it depends upon you, live with peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I'll repay,' says the Lord." So what Paul says in Romans 12, he says, guys, let God bring the revenge. Let God's wrath take care of you. That's hard to do. And many times we want to seek our own justice. But Paul says a fellow believer, those who follow God, let God take care of his people. He's the one that does revenge. All right, so let's continue on what Jesus was saying. Verse 39 of Matthew 5. "But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. If someone wants to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to one who asks, and do not turn away from one who wants to borrow from you." Now Jesus starts out, he says, but. That idea of the word but, that 3 little words, says he's changing direction. He's summing up. He says, but do not resist him who is evil. Jesus says the Pharisees misunderstood this because they automatically sought revenge. Because you hurt me, I get to hurt you the same amount you hurt me. And that was their whole goal. Jesus also does not teach that we shouldn't take a stand against evil. Sometimes Christians will read this and say, well, I'm just a doormat. That's not what it says. It says, do not repay evil for evil. The word resist is to set against or to oppose. In this text, it refers to harm done to us personally by someone who is evil. We never pay back evil for evil to anyone. Never take your own revenge. In action, Paul says in Romans 12:21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So in verses 39 through 42, Jesus picks out basically 4 human rights, a principle of non-retaliation. And there are dignity, security, liberty, and property. So first he talks about dignity. If anyone who slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the one also. Among the Jews, a slap on the cheek or a slap on the face was an attack of one's honor. If you get slapped on the face, it is saying that you're less than human. I mean, slaves would rather be beaten on the back than been slapped in the face, because it was an insult to being slapped on the face. Jesus' point is this. It's when you turn the other cheek, you symbolizes you're not going to seek revenge. You're not going to retaliate. You're supposed to be humble and gentle, humble in spirit, to characterize those people who belong to Jesus Christ, those who are kingdom citizens. You turn the other cheek because you're saying, hey, I'm not going to fight evil with evil. Security, the next one. If anyone wants to sue you, take your shirt. Let him have your cloak as well, or your coat. The shirt is an undergarment. The cloak is an outer garment, kind of like a blanket they would use. Jesus is not talking about robbing somebody. He's talking about in a judgment case, the judge will say, hey guys, you don't have any money, that you got to give them your shirt or your coat. A follower of Jesus must be willing to surrender one's coat, one's coat, to show the love of Christ, to illustrate that you're not bitter for being sued. You're not have resentment, but you're showing Christ's love. The next one is liberty. Anyone shall force you to go 1 mile, you go with him 2. Jesus is saying his followers are willing to sacrifice their life, sacrifice their freedom for good. The Roman law gave the Roman soldiers, the ability to force a civilian to carry his backpack for 1 mile. But Jesus says, hey, you take it 2 miles. And by going 2 miles instead of 1, you're surrendering another mile. You're showing that you will not retaliate. You show that you love that person. You're not about, I'm just going to do 1 mile and that's it, and throw it down and walk off. You show that you care. That you won't take justice in your own hands. And the last one is property. Give him who asks of you, and not turn away from him who wants to borrow from you. Man, guys, we love our possessions. I love my stuff. I like my stuff. And we just don't like to give up our stuff. You know, when someone wants to borrow from us, it's not to, we turn to him and we give him out of what he needs. It doesn't mean that we fill every foolish request that's given us, but we're supposed to meet people's needs. Now, this whole teaching, what Jesus is talking about, is really not about the civil justice, what to do and what not to do. It is about getting rid of our personal selfishness. It is about not having revenge or seeking our own justice. In Romans 14:8, it says this: if we live to the Lord. And if we die to the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. And what Paul is saying is that if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, that means that you belong to Him. He is the one that you follow. He is the one that you say, yes, sir. Or He's the one that you obey. You know, when we decide to follow Jesus Christ, we die to ourselves. In other words, Steve Hoggard no longer lives, but it is Christ that lives in me. I follow Him. I belong to Him. He's the one that meets my needs. He's the one that gets my revenge in the end. He's the one, not me. And so what Jesus is trying to say is really, we're so selfish in our own desires that we want what we want. So we need to surrender that. And actually just need to surrender ourselves to Him. Man, I hope you learned something. I hope you got something today. This is a little hard for us to grasp, but the key is to realize it's not about you. It is about Him. What John the Baptist said, one of the greatest things, I think it's in John 3:30. He said, He must become greater, I must become less. If you seek an eye for an eye, you're about yourself. You need to be about the kingdom's business. Hey, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.